Hello and welcome, and my name is Dr. Jankovic, and this is episode 16 of Paperhats Season 3. Now, the scenery is much more impressive this episode because in the last episode, we redid these snowy peaks behind me, and they look amazing. Here they are from a different angle. We even blended them into the surrounding environment to make sure they look correct. But I won't spend too much time on that. We have very important things to do. As I described in the end of the last episode, our storage system is absolutely overflowing. So if you're not familiar, this is our current storage system. I have done my best to organize it effectively, but it's just not working. I even added a trash can for rotten flesh and things that I just will never need. But here's the problem with it. Things like our light barrel. I have a whole bunch of different shulker boxes in it. General wood barrel has a whole bunch of different shulker boxes in it. Wool barrel is needing shulker boxes in it because we have so many different types of wool, and that's just to name a few. So I, along with my Twitch chat, have decided it is absolutely time for an upgrade. That is right. We are going to be making a mega storage system in this episode, and I think I have some really cool ideas for it. And now I'm using my free cam so I can just show you a little bit better. This is the area I explained in my last episode that it's really just wasted space if you think about it. I'm not really going to build anything here. There's nothing I can think of that needs to pop out of the mountain, so I thought it was a really good area to put our storage system. We even have a cave kind of forming here, but that doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm planning. What I'm planning is, imagine I'm flying in with an elytra, and you go down here, there's like a big tube, and you sort of fly down a little bit, and then there's a spiral staircase, and it's kind of like a dwarven mine or something. But along the sides are a whole bunch of barrels and a whole bunch of storage stuffs that are automatically sorted out. I know stuff like that is very hard to imagine when you're not really looking at it, so let me show you a different example. So now I'm over in the giant mushroom forest, standing on a giant mushroom, and I'm using a tool that's included with a mod called Mini HUD. Basically, you can just render simple shapes in the world, and it helps you dig holes and just put together shapes with blocks a little bit easier than just doing it freehand. Now this, I have marked this in the world. This is where I want the storage system to be, and just imagine I am flying down a giant mine shaft with a spiral staircase, and there are chests along the walls. I hope that can give you a little more of an idea of what we're going for. This is definitely a project that's going to take a very long time, but I'm going to try my absolute best to get it done in this episode. First things first, we do need to do a lot of digging, so I think what I'm going to do is start my stream up over at twitch.tv/Dr. Jankovic. If you are not following me there, please do go over to that link and follow me so you can get notified every time I go live. We always have such a great time building and digging holes and simple stuff like that. But I will not leave you completely in the dark. I will be sure to make a time lapse of digging this massive holes here. Let the time lapse roll. It's been a very long time since I've made a time lapse like that. That was about 6 hours of work condensed into about 3 minutes. But I do have to ask, did you notice what happened in there? I would bet not, because things were just moving so fast, but Dan and Superboy actually had a PvP battle at the bottom of this pit. Let me show you. There he goes. Superboy wants Dan to know he has moves. All right, they're taking their corners. Dan's moving in. He's charging. He's going straight for Superboy. Oh, and gets the first hit. Oh, Superboy's mad. He is going after Dan. Oh, slap Dan upside the head. They are going at it. Oh, and Dan bites the dust. What's this? Superboy is laughing like a maniac. What a oh, no, he's betraying. Oh, Dan just got slashed down. If you have kids in the room, take them out. Oh, they're going at it again for round 2. Who is going to win? Oh, they're whooping each other. And Superboy bites the dust. Dan has made a comeback. Uh-oh. Dan's going for the betrayal. Oh, he slashed Superboy down. They're going at it for round 3. It's a tie. Oh, Superboy wins the cake. That is precisely why we can't have nice things. Really, though, I thought it was hilarious how they thought this looked like a PvP arena at the bottom and just started fighting it out. I laughed so hard during that, and it got my mind off how much work I really had to do on these walls here, but I had such a good time editing that clip. I hope you guys liked it. However, moving right along, I did some thinking, and I think the best way to go about this is work backwards, kind of. So I went ahead and put all the chests in. I think I have a really nice design. So flying down here, I already see one flaw. It's a slight flaw, but it can be fixed very easily. I can't actually open the top chest here. But what we're going to have is 2 double chests per item sorted. If I need more chests than that, I can just pack them into shulker boxes and store those shulker boxes in the bottom chest. And I figured since there's an 8-block gap in between the floors, I figured I better just go ahead and add a layer of barrels here. That's going to give us a little bit extra manual storage. Maybe this chest is spruce, and then I don't have very many spruce variants, so I'll just put all the variants in the barrel, and then the chest can stay the spruce logs. And by the way, in case you're wondering, this storage system is going to be able to automatically sort 132 items. And that's not counting what I can sort with the manual storage. So I think it's safe to say I've cured my storage needs. We just got to build it now. I have been a very, very busy person the last couple of days. And you're probably wondering about the weird camera angle. Well, I have been digging for the past couple of days. I've been digging out these trenches here. I realized I'm just going to need more room than I thought for the redstone to make this work properly. So I decided just to dig out some 5-wide trenches. This is almost enough room for the redstone. And while I didn't plan this, I think it's going to save me a lot of digging if I just dig out these little cubby holes here for all the redstone. There's no real need to take down all the walls just for something that sticks out a couple of blocks. But that is right, I have one of the modules set up. I am going to take this exact design and repeat it to all 11 chests, times 3, times 4, all the way around. Once we know that we have all the modules installed, we are going to run all the water lines at once. I think doing one step at a time is going to make this a lot easier. We are continuing to build a more and more impressive shulker monster, but we got all the redstone modules installed. Okay, now I'm behind the scenes, and you can really get a feel for just how big this storage system is. This is only half of it. Also, huge thanks to Superboy Gamer for letting us use his iron farm for all these hoppers here. There's no way I could have mined enough iron in a reasonable amount of time, at least, to supply this thing. The great news is I think that was honestly the hardest part of this build. All we have to do now is connect up that water stream channel to that one. Obviously, I'm gonna have to start from the top, loop around to all 4 of them, and then drop them, and then do another loop. I don't think it'll take that long. I have almost a shulker of glass left over from using that much. So we definitely have the resources. I've just got to put it together, get the water streams going, make sure that items can actually reach every single chest. And I'm making it sound a lot more complicated than it really is. So let me just, let me go ahead and do the top layer and we'll see how that goes. Okay, I've set up our first turn on the water stream here, and I want to make sure that this double chest is going to continue what it's always done and align these items correctly enough to where they are right in between the ice block and the hopper here. The reason you want to do this when you have a storage system is if you just plain old run water over the hopper actually has a dip in it where the top of the hopper is, and sometimes for no reason at all, items will just get stuck in there. It's always best to align the items on the edge of the block because it can still be picked up right here. So it just saves you a lot of heartache in the end. Take 1. All right, looks like it got picked up correctly. So great, we can just repeat this design throughout the whole build. Water streams achieved. I think I've connected these up correctly throughout the whole build. Let's take a closer look. Now I'm in free cam, just inside of the world, so I can see it a little bit better. It's looking pretty crazy. Looks like I got all of the modules connected together. The only thing left to do is actually test it. So I went ahead and put in a little bit of legwork to put in all of the filter blocks into the hoppers. Now I wanted to fill them up completely for just a moment because I'm a little bit concerned with the placement of these slabs here. I think I've done a storage system like this before with all the water going like this, and I may remember some items getting stuck on the edges of these slabs here, and I'm a little bit worried about them making it through this last part here, landing correctly at the second level and continuing on. So I thought it would be a good test if I start from the top, fill up all the hoppers so nothing can go into the hoppers, and just make sure an item can get all the way to the bottom reliably. I'll probably drop 10 or so items separately down here, and we'll see how many we have at the end. And 10. All right, we'll see if it makes it all the way to the bottom. Here we are waiting for the signs. If they don't show up in a couple minutes, I'll go check it out. I have been here for about 30 seconds. I think we might have some problems. Let's check it out. I've been flying around for a while now. I just can't find the signs that I dropped down here. So I'm wondering if I missed some hoppers, or maybe they're just flying somewhere that I'm not really able to understand at the moment. But let me do that test again, and I'm gonna follow it with my camera. I found you. So turns out I forgot a bit of a stone filter in a hopper, and it was just collecting all the signs. So I'm glad that wasn't too much of an issue. So with the great news that all the redstone should be working, the only things left to do is actually set the filters for the items that I want to go into the chest. That's going to take a little bit, and I think what I'm going to do is just have a starting point, make an Excel spreadsheet, and go left to right. There's not too many items. I think there was like 132 I said, so that's not terrible when you take into account all the forms of wood and stone and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it'll take me too long to do that. However, this video is getting pretty long. There's a lot of content in here, and I want to get this video out. So there's actually going to be a part 2 of the storage system. Part 2 is going to be all about the terraforming, making this place look good. We're going to go ahead and make it all completed and finished and look great in one go. I don't know how long that video will take, but it just seems more fitting to put all the redstone technical work in one video and all of the beautiful terraforming in the second one. I won't leave you completely without anything. I know building is very interesting to a lot of people, so what we're going to do in this episode is start to lay down some of the netherrack kind of guidelines here, but first things first, we got to get the item sorted worked out. We got to work out which items we want in each chest. You probably saw my editor's note a few seconds ago. I was terribly wrong about picking which items go where, but I managed to do it. Let me show you. The unfortunate part about this is I haven't actually messed with any of the filters yet. So far, all I've done is decide where each block is going to go. And now begins the daunting task of gathering a few of each of these blocks, placing them in front of the correct chest, and then going behind the scenes and placing the correct item in the filter. This is one of those things where I just don't think I could make it interesting on camera, so I'm going to go ahead and get this part done. Alright, I've got everything labeled that I need to label, and I think I have a process thought out on how it's going to make it pretty easy to set up all these sorters behind the chests. So my plan is to first, in this top chest here, go ahead and put one of the item that I want in this slot, take away the water temporarily, break the glass with silk touch of course, take the item, and then I have an easy way just to replace the first filter there. There we go, we just got the cobblestone ready. Now I just have to do this for 131 more blocks. How fun. You guys would not believe, but in that few seconds that just passed, I got all of the sorters ready. I had to go one section at a time, write down a list of blocks, organize them in my inventory, put each of them in the top chest like I discussed earlier, and then go behind the scenes and put them all in the filters. You may not believe me when I say this, but that almost took 2 hours just to do all these. Nonetheless, I am super excited to have that done. And the very last thing we need to do besides decorating is fix that little platform up there. I believe I talked about that earlier in this video, but that is where the shulker unloader is going to go. I actually designed my own shulker unloader for this. Let's pop over into my creative world for a second because I want to show you the machine I designed for this. And here it is. Obviously, it won't be this colorful in survival, but it's good to use different color wool so you kind of know what different things do in a redstone machine. I'm actually quite proud of this. I made it pretty compact. It is, what, 4 by 6 or 7 or something like that. It's pretty compact for one of my builds at least. I usually make janky stuff that is on brand, but it's a really simple concept. Obviously, I'll have a chest somewhere up here where I can load in shulkers, and they will be loaded into this dispenser here. You hit the button, it starts unloading the first shulker, and as soon as that one empties, a new one pops up. That is part of the reason we have the unfiltered chest. This one all the way at the bottom. This unfiltered one is going to contain the empty shulkers that get spit out from the shulker unloader up there. And that's for a couple of reasons actually. Number one, shulkers are unstackable, so it's really hard to filter out unstackable items. So if we just let it go through the filters, of course, none of the filters can pick it up, so it's going to end up in the overflow chest. Secondly, it's going to give me a place if I ever need a shulker. I can just go over here to the last chest, grab a shulker, and I've always got empty ones to use. Very convenient. Obviously, this means that there's going to be a little bit of a maintenance involved, especially since this is just 2 double chests. You wouldn't think so, but items really collect in these overflow chests pretty quickly. I don't think that's going to be a problem, though, because every once in a while, I'll come over here, check to see if there are empty shulkers in these 2 chests, and I can just store them in the barrels. Easy enough. Okay, I've got the schematic placed in the world, and it's looking kind of janky at the moment. We're going to fix that. I'm going to get this thing built, and then we are going to have a fully functional storage system. I cannot wait until this nightmare is over. By the way, in between clips, I found a little switch on my microphone, and I switched it, and now it sounds about 14 times better. So if you're a little bit confused why it sounds so different now, that is why. You know, we keep it janky on the Dr. Jankovic channel. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that I do announce we are done with the functionality of this storage system. I cannot believe it. It has been 2 weeks of just constant work. I think it was 2 weeks. To be honest with you, I lost track of time. But the shulker unloader was such a small project, I just quickly put it together. And as far as I can tell, it should work. One thing I was worried about as we fly back here is positioning the items from the shulker unloader. I wanted it on the right side of the wall over here for some reason. In hindsight, I probably should have put it on the left side because we've got to drag all the items over here, do this little janky thing that is very on brand, and drop them down, align them with a chest, and bring them back. So it's got to do a double back, but it's not too bad. Didn't take too much resources to get that done. It didn't take long at all. This whole thing right here probably took me about 30 minutes. Probably the easiest thing I have done all episode. And you know what? Since we are officially done with the functionality, there's only one thing left to do, and that's test it. This is the stressful part. Let me go grab some shulker boxes. I've got plenty of them with a whole bunch of stuff in it. We're gonna dump them in and hope for the best. I hope you like that little montage there, and as you can see above my head here, this thing is working absolutely fantastic. I can't believe it, to be honest with you, that we didn't have more problems. There was a little bit of a problem during the creation of that little montage. I did miss a block over there, but nothing too serious at all, and you can see that things are being sorted. Over here as well on the tough, I don't know exactly everything I put in there. I didn't keep note of that, but we do have a lot of junk already, and you can see the empty shulkers are going into the unsorted as well. And the plan is when I come over here and see empty shulkers, I'll just go ahead and take them out of that bottom chest, put them into the barrel here, and then I've always got a place to get empty shulkers. I just love to hear that ticking sound. It gets a little annoying after a while, but at least we know it's working. I do have a little bit of bad news, however. I know I promised to put down some of the netherrack to kind of plan out this build in this episode, but this episode is getting really, really long. Over 23 minutes, I think. It's a really long one, and I really don't like to go over 20 minutes. It's just too much to watch at one time. So what I'm going to promise you is in the next episode, we are going to do every bit of the terraforming. I'm going to make it 20 minutes or less. We're going to do the mountains. We're going to incorporate that. We're going to do the pathways. We're going to do all the texturing, everything in the next video. And it is going to be really fun because although this redstone was really fun and I got back to doing redstone, it's not something I've really done in quite a while. I really enjoy building now. I want to make this place look pretty. I am too tired of it being just netherrack and just generally ugly looking. And as an added bonus, there's a ton of shulkers that I need to sort out. So as I'm building, I would just leave this thing running. It seems to be working fine. If I'm losing any items, I'm sure it's not enough for me to even notice, so we're just not even going to ask that question. Anyways, I'm going to end it here. I'm going to quit rambling on. Guys, please like the video and subscribe. It really, really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. I will see you guys for episode 17 of Paperhats Season 3. I cannot wait to get building. Thanks so much.